The Bad Batch is quite possibly one of my favourite TV shows that came out of, was it 2020? 2021? It was 2021, wasn't it? Yeah. Wow. Anyway, so The Bad Batch was easily one of my favourite shows, not just in Star Wars, but just in general. I absolutely love it. I don't know how to explain how much I love this show. So anyway, welcome to Eververse Games, and today we're going to be doing a beginner's guide to The Bad Batch. So, let's begin, shall we? So, The Bad Batch came out in 2021, like I say, and when it came out, I was actually so excited just by the teaser trailer. I was like, wow! It was a show centered around the clone troopers, and the clone troopers are very dear to my heart. I absolutely love them. They're my favourite characters in the Clone Wars. When we first got introduced to The Batch, it was the first 4 episodes of season 7 of the Clone Wars, and straight away I was like, damn, these guys are so cool. I liked how different they were. A lot of people, I remember on Tumblr, were a little bit skeptical at first, just because these clones, they don't look like clones. But yeah, I absolutely loved them straight away. So for this particular video, I'm going to be focusing on the first season. I may do another video about season 2, but today we are just focusing on season 1. So anyway, season 1 opens with an hour and a bit episode, which was, I think, a really good move, because yeah, we met these characters in, like I say, in season 7, but we haven't seen them like grow as a group yet, especially Echo. Like, Echo's a character we knew from all the way back in season 1 of the Clone Wars, so for me it was really cool just to see them work as a group before we got into the story of season 1. So now I'm going to introduce you to each of the characters that you meet as the core group of the Batch, and I'm going to just introduce you to them, so say who they are, what they do, etc. So yeah, let's crack into that. So the leader of the Bad Batch is Hunter. Hunter is my favourite of the Batch. I don't know why. I don't know if it's because of the bandana or what, but I just absolutely love this character. I know some people can be quite torn about some of the decisions Hunter makes, but for me, I think he's great. You know, he's a leader. He's in the Batch, each of them have special abilities that makes them, them. Hunter has enhanced senses, and he can feel electrical currents. So for me, that's really cool. And it's quite simple as well, because I wrote a fanfiction, and I like to point out that Hunter is the one that looks most like a normal clone trooper. But even he's, a little different. There's little nuances to his character that I've always, loved. Straight away from season 1, you see him be a leader, but you can also see him quite conflicted. He's used to leading them in war, but he's not used to leading them as a family. But obviously he does learn slowly how to do this. And also I just love that everyone's like, he's a Delph! He's another one for the Delph universe of Star Wars. And I'm like, yes he is, and he will remain as such. And I am so glad in season 2 we see him smile a little bit. That's great. So next up we have Tech, who, I won't lie, he did take me a tiny bit longer than the others to warm up to, but I quite like Tech. He's intelligent, but I noticed he doesn't ever really patronise people by being less intelligent. He might mock them slightly just to, get a quip in, but he's never condescending about someone who's not as clever as he is, because he knows he's just too clever for the others. I like how he's strategic, yet we can see him be strong in battle, which I don't think happens an awful lot. Like, sometimes the nerdy characters in shows are seen as weak. He isn't. He's easily one of the group, and he's a very valued member, which I really enjoyed. I also just like how he's sassy Tech is. He's great. Next up we have Wrecker, who was probably my second favourite character. It's kind of torn between him and Hunter. I absolutely love Wrecker. He's a great character. He is probably the one who I always think is quite nuanced in ways that the others aren't. A lot of people will immediately think, because he's big and slightly goofy, that he's an idiot. He can be an idiot, don't get me wrong, they all can. But there's something quite clever about Wrecker. He's emotionally intelligent. When the others are very apathetic to some characters, he's like, wait, what? No, that's not how it should be. I just like him. He's more than just his brawn. He's clever. He's clever in some ways that the others aren't. He's great at explosions, bombs and such. He's great at that when others don't have a clue. Like, there's generally a bit where they're like, oh my god, we need Wrecker. And I'm like, yeah, you do need Wrecker. Wrecker is gold. So the last member of the original 4, so the core 4, is Crosshair. Now for me, Crosshair is definitely the most unique of the group. He's an outcast, even with them. However, at the end of the beginning of season 7, he is a member of the group, and he's quite a solidified member. It's only really until season 1 of the Bad Batch where he's kind of different, but it's because it's the end of the war, it's different sides, and Crosshair isn't quite sure where his allegiance lies. But I really like Crosshair because he's nuanced. I know I keep saying this, but I like the Bad Batch because they all have their own individual preferences, likes, interests, etc. And Crosshair's no different. He can be quite snide, but I think he's quite soft at heart. I just don't think he's had the chance to show it yet. But I like him. He's clever. He's, like I say, he's an outcast, and I have a soft spot for outcasts. He is close with the Batches, as you probably guessed, but obviously there's some conflicts that they need to resolve in the future. So a character who I was very excited to explore a little bit more in season 1 of the Bad Batch was Echo. As I said before, we've known Echo since season 1 of the Clone Wars. We've known him since 2008. That's a very long time to know a character, and yet we don't know too much about him. I think he's easily the clone that's had the most development. Like, he is very different from when we see him in his first appearance in the Clone Wars. He doesn't even look remotely the same, not just because of his cybernetics, just because as a character he's grown so much. I also love how D. Bradley Baker described his voice as slightly grumpy, and I really like that. I was like, yeah, he's so much older than the others of the batch. He's basically the mum of the group, and I was so excited to see him. And yeah, he is slightly pushed to the side in season 1 of the Bad Batch. I like to think of it as, because we know so much about Echo, it's to give others the chance to, shine, and he does get a bit more development in season 2. But I was so glad to just see Echo. I was like, damn, look at him. He's with his group. But obviously, there are moments where Echo's like, maybe I should be doing more. And that's what I love about Echo, which reminds me of this theory I had. So Echo Base in Hoth, I always wondered if it was named after him. It could be just a coincidence, but curious. And then finally we had the last member of the Bad Batch, who was a brand new character introduced to us in season 1. I absolutely love Omega. She's a great character. A lot of people who I saw reviews of it were like, oh great, she's like Ahsoka back in season 1 of the Clone Wars. And I have to disagree. Mostly because I actually enjoyed Ahsoka all the way from the beginning. I'm an OG fan. But also because Omega's so different. She hasn't got the Force. She's actually a lot more, not a lot more intelligent, but her and Ahsoka aren't really comparable as characters. I just really like Omega, and a lot of people I remember were really annoyed about her, some of the things she did in season 1. I have to disagree. She's a kid. She's learning. And we actually see her learn quite a lot throughout the season, but she isn't the only one learning. The Bad Batch are learning as well, and I do think that although they are clearly a family, they do need to grow as one. But I absolutely love the relationship she has with Hunter. She has unlocked his DILF phase, and we have to thank her for it. Thank you, Omega. You are a godsend. I also love, spoilers, that she's older than them by a lot. She's essentially the same age as like Boba, Rex. She's from the first generation of clones, at least I think so. I might be wrong. But I just love her. Look at her, she's a little cutie pie. I love her accent too, she's great. And I cannot wait to see what happens in season 3. So excited. So that kind of wraps up everything you kind of want to know about the Bad Batch, at least character-wise. I might do one about each episode, but I'm not sure. I'm definitely going to touch on the developments in season 2 later. But so this has been the Bad Batch, a beginner's guide to the Bad Batch, and I hope you all really enjoyed it. I certainly did. Like I said, I absolutely love this show. It's easily one of my favourite ones. I'm a massive Star Wars fan, and I actually did do a review of The Phantom Menace on my podcast. I don't know if I'd say it was good, but it was a review. So this has been the Bad Batch.
3, 2, 1.
thank you so much, guys, for watching. This has been the second beginner's guide. I'm not sure what I'm going to do next week. I'll decide a little bit later, but I'm so glad I managed to do this. This has been a lot of fun, and I'm really glad I started doing it. But anyway, if you did enjoy today, please think of like, comment, and subscribing, and I shall see you guys in the next video of mine. See you later, guys. I love you. Bye!